and welcome. My name is Rob. Back in 1979, one of the world's premier skate parks opened right here in New Jersey, the legendary Cherry Hill Skateboard Park. Designed by Wally Holliday, this thing was a bull rider's dream. The coolest part is it was only about an hour away from my house. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to skate it though, because it was open between 1979 and 1981. I was too young to skate at that time. I wasn't too young to wear a skateboard shirt though. Anyway, I would love to travel back in time and get the chance to skate Cherry Hill. Unfortunately, the park is long gone, but fortunately, I've got myself a fully functional time machine that can bring me right back to that era. Let's do some time traveling. Okay, what I have here is a Powell Peralta, Ray Bones Rodriguez, Skull and Sword Snubnose. This is a reissue. The original was made in 1979, which is the Cherry Hill era. It's considered a pig shape, but it's really in a class all its own. There's a few differences that make it a little bit different than most other pigs. So let's take a look at the specs. The most obvious thing about this board is that tiny little nose. Those front trucks are about as far up as you can get. This is actually the shortest of all the Powell Peralta pigs, but it also has the longest wheelbase. So they've really stretched those trucks out as far as you can go. As a result, you get that tiny little nose, and the tail is also pretty short as well. Now, the freakiest thing for me is the concave, or lack thereof. This has FK1 concave, which means it is completely flat. No concave at all. And in fact, the tail barely has any kick to it. So this thing feels very unusual as compared to other pigs and other modern skateboards. The first time that I ever got to ride a Snubnose was last summer when one of my skate buddies brought one to the skate park. I had a chance to try it out, and from the instant that my feet touched the board, I got the feeling that I was gonna hurt myself on this thing. And I don't know if it was because of the super small nose or that complete lack of concave, but I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. So I gave it right back to him, and my impression of the Snubnose was that I hated it. Well, a few months later, I started feeling kind of bad about hating it. So I borrowed this one from my skate buddy Metal Mike. I'm gonna bring it to the skate park, spend an entire session on it. Hopefully that'll change my mind. Hey, that wasn't too bad. It took me a long time to get the hang of this board, but once I started building my confidence, I felt comfortable enough to go over to a small quarter pipe and try a few basic tricks. This board is pretty tricky to ride, so landing any of those basic tricks felt like a huge accomplishment. The defining moment for me was taking it into the bowl, because that's the kind of terrain that this board was designed for, especially with that longer wheelbase. Carving around had a really graceful, drawn-out feel. It felt pretty good, and it made me start thinking again about Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill closed in 1981, but The same guy who designed Cherry Hill also designed another skate park that's just a little bit down the street from there, Maple Shade Skate Park. Maple Shade opened in the mid-2000s, but it shares the same DNA with Cherry Hill. They both have the same designer, and they both have large flowing transitions. I figured if I could take this board to that park, that's about as close as I could come to hopping on a time machine back to 1980 to get that Cherry Hill experience. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that was awesome. Cherry Hill might be long gone, but riding this board at Maple Shade gave me that same feel. And if I let my mind go there, it kind of felt like I went back in time to 1980. The scariest part of riding this board, without a doubt, was dropping in on those big bowls because my front foot was right up on the nose. It felt like I was just going to go over the front end. In actuality, once my feet were in place and I broke the ice by dropping in, it felt like any other board, just a little bit more retro. Okay, let's review the key points for the Snubnose. It's got a little tiny nose, it's got absolutely no concave, and both of those things make this board completely freaky to ride. But don't make the same mistake that I made and write it off completely. It's actually pretty fun once you get the hang of it. Doing tricks on this board is more satisfying than normal because the board itself is part of the challenge. My favorite thing about the Snubnose is that it's basically a time machine. So if you wanted to experience skateboarding in the late 70s, early 80s, this is the board you want to ride. All right, that is just about it for the Snubnose. If you have one or you're thinking about getting one, let me know. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. This is Rob, signing off. Thanks for watching.